Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. I hope you're all doing well. So this is another timeless pick-a-pile reading, and I hope this reading will reach you at the right time and that it brings you the messages that are going to be helpful to you at this point in your journey. I think I forgot the love pause in the last video I uploaded. I uploaded it and I was thinking, wow, that was a really short video. But anyway, I know not everyone wants to do it, but if you want to pause the video here and send some loving energy out into the universe, please do so. And thank you to everyone who does. And I'll see you on the next slide when you're ready. So these are the 3 piles that we have today. Each pile is marked with a different crystal. For pile 1, we have the Aventurine. For pile 2, we have the Turquoise. And for pile 3, we have the Citrine. Take your time choosing your pile and let your intuition guide you to the pile or piles that you will watch. These are general readings, so it is possible that only some parts of the reading will resonate for you. It's also possible that you may be guided to a video that doesn't seem like it resonates at all. When that happens, trust that you were guided there for a reason. It's always an intention of mine too that if you are guided to a pile, there is something there for you. That might be an insight, a piece of wisdom, or the opportunity to see something from a different perspective. If you are interested in the decks that I'm using in this reading, I'll have them listed on a slide at the end of the reading. And that's it. I'll see you at your pile when you've decided. Hi, pile 1. This is your reading. The tarot card that you got was the 7 of Cups. And that's about being in a position where there are a few options showing up in front of you. And it's about you not really knowing what to choose. So some of the options might seem appealing, but you don't know if they are as good as they seem. And some of the options don't seem all that great, but you know that you can't really judge them until you've tried them. Now this card can represent indecision, but it can also be about temptation because there will be some options that seem really nice. The thing with this card is that this is the kind of situation where the mind will struggle to choose, and that's because the mind really wants to make the best, safest, wisest decision possible. But unfortunately for your mind, it can't actually predict the future. And of course, the mind wanting to get it perfectly right is very much an egoic need, because our egos hate getting it wrong. Our egos hate failing, and of course our egos worry a lot about judgment and ridicule from other people. So the problem is that as long as you're trying to make the best decision with your mind, you will feel kind of stuck. You'll be stuck in analysis paralysis, unless it's obvious that one option is so incredible that it blows the others out of the water. So as difficult as it might be to hear this, if you are stuck in this mental situation where you're trying to pick the best option is actually to trust your intuition. And I say that because that kind of guidance comes from our higher self, and our higher self does know where we should be going and how to get us there. But obviously this requires us to trust and put faith in the option that we are being intuitively drawn to, because it might not look like the best option on the table, especially not from an egoic perspective. So this might be like if you're unemployed and looking for a job, and there are a few possibilities, but the one you feel like choosing isn't the one that has the best pay or the most obvious growth potentials. So the one you want to choose is the one that's feeling right to you. And so that's the sort of thing we're talking about here. Now, our first oracle card is a number 22 card, and it's titled Transformation. 22 is a master number in numerology, and it's known as the master builder. And it's about someone who can make their vision a reality. So this could be suggesting that you are someone who can choose to create something completely new. So maybe that's one of those options that you're looking at. And it could be that that's the option that's speaking to you much more than any of the other options. Now this transformation card is showing a caterpillar, and so that's suggesting that there is a transformation that is yet to happen. Now this card is making me feel like the thing that is actually right for you is either currently a thought bubble, or it's something that is at its very early stages in terms of what it's meant to become. So as much as you might want it to be something solid, or your mind might want it to be something solid that you can hang your hat on, it's just not there yet. And that's not to say it won't become what you're hoping it will become. And in fact, it's quite likely that it will become what you're hoping it will become. And I say that because the master builder is someone who can turn a vision into reality. And let's face it, caterpillars are meant to become butterflies. So I guess if this dream is what feels right to you, you just have to keep going with it. You need to just keep working away on making the dream a reality. The second oracle card here is Pixie Helpers and Green Aventurine. So Aventurine is a stone of luck, and Pixie Helpers, well, that sounds amazing. Now this card is related to the element of earth, and it's captioned, "Not all wanderers are lost." And that's really interesting because that's a line from The Lord of the Rings, from the Riddle of Strider by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, I'm sure most of you know the Lord of the Rings story, but Aragorn is the heir of Gondor. But when he first becomes known to the hobbits, he's known as Strider, who is a ranger. Now, I think I'll put that poem, The Riddle of Strider, on the next slide so you can read the lines for yourself. But it definitely has themes of transformation in it, and that shows up in the second verse a fair bit. The first verse is also very powerful, though, because it has the message of how the external appearance of something doesn't necessarily reveal its true potential or its strength and resilience. And I have to say, I love this message for you, Pile 1, because it's telling me that whatever it is you're doing or thinking about doing, it's a much bigger deal than anyone else might realize. And to be honest, you might not yet realize its full potential either. And I think that's the thing when we're being guided by our higher self. Our conscious mind doesn't have any idea what the future is, but our higher self already knows what our highest potential is. And when you surrender to that guidance, you will just be doing what you're guided to do, and the rest is just going to unfold the way it will. And that might be in ways that you were never expecting. And I guess that's why we have this mention of Pixie Helpers. I think you're going to look back from time to time and wonder how on earth you got some of the opportunities or lucky breaks that suddenly showed up on your path. You will just feel like you just got lucky. And I guess all you can really do is thank Spirit and your Pixie Helpers. Now, I don't really know how luck works, but I always wonder if it is just a case of alignment blessings. So this is where if you're on the path of alignment, you become a bit of a magnet for the blessings. And that does kind of make sense, because if you were plodding along on the wrong path, the universe wouldn't want to make that wrong path feel good to you. I mean, if the wrong path was to feel good, you'd never really step off that path. So I think it tends to be that the right path is the one where you will feel good and feel blessed. And all the other wrong paths, on the other hand, are always going to be paths where things don't really work out the way you want, or in a way that's good for you. And I forgot to read the keywords out on this card as well. They are clearing the way, luck, and opportunity. So, yep, that is Spirit helping you and your Pixie Helpers, I guess. I love your reading, Pile 1. You're definitely being guided to stay committed, because whatever it is that you're feeling guided to do, it's the right thing for you to do. And I guess with this storyline, just don't worry about other people's opinions, because the fact that the Riddle of Strider showed up in this reading is telling me that other people aren't going to see the value of what you're doing, not at this early stage anyway. I'm actually going to say that sometimes it's best if other people don't even know what you're up to when the thing is in its early stages. And I say that because other people's opinions can really slow you down and mess with your mindset and your energy. And I think you can just tell people when it becomes necessary for them to know, or when you've got something solid that you can actually tell them about. And sure, some people will be miffed that you didn't tell them from the start, but the way I see it, if you're working on building a dream, it's not going to progress. It's not going to help your progress, to be hearing what other people are thinking, because you'll be hearing their fears, their doubts, their negative comments, their judgments, or there might be, mockery or criticism. It's just not going to be helpful. So you'll be much better off, I think, to just focus on building your dream. And then, once you've made it something substantial, then you can share the news. And that's just how I feel about that. And in terms of the reading, that's all that I've got, Pile 1. But here is the Riddle of Strider for those who want to read it. So you can just pause the video if you need a little bit longer to read it. But yeah, I think you'll see the things that I'm talking about or that I spoke about earlier. Pile 1, all the best with your dream, and enjoy all the luck and blessings that are coming your way. If you're leaving this reading here and you liked it or found it helpful, please give the video a like or leave a comment. The Pile 2 reading will be up next. Hi Pile 2, welcome to your reading. Your card today, or tarot card today, is the Six of Cups. Now this is a card that is related to nostalgia and soulmate connections from the past. The image on this is quite poignant because it shows two people sharing an umbrella, and that just has such a strong implication of closeness, doesn't it? Now, Spirit put the song Umbrella by Rihanna into my head at this point, and I had to go look up the lyrics for the song because it's not a song that I actually like. But I knew because it popped into my head that there was something there for me to find. So obviously it's a well-known song, so some of you will know the lyrics very well. But when I went to look at them, I did see that it does fit quite well with this idea of a strong soulmate connection, because the lyrics talk about two people who are there for each other in sunshine and in rain, and who say they'll be there to help each other heal from any painful life experiences. The lyrics also mention a promise that is made for this to be a lasting connection. So in the context of this reading, I'm going to say that this nostalgia relates to a very close, very loving relationship that unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. The promise that was made in the lyrics didn't sound like wedding vows. It actually seemed more one-sided because it looked like she was promising to always be his friend and to stick around till the end. So obviously something happened because that connection did come to an end. And whatever did happen, because of the degree of closeness we're talking about, whatever did happen would have been really painful. Because the circumstances meant that she obviously didn't end up sticking around till the end, even though she'd made that promise. Now, this seems like a bit of a sad reading, doesn't it? I'm going to jump to the second oracle card first because it seems to connect very well. It's titled Turquoise and Forget Me Not. And it's funny, but I only realized at this point that there is a typo in the Forget Me Not card because it says Forget Me Mot. And I've used this deck for a while and I've never actually noticed that before. So it says Forget Me Mot. So there's an M here instead of an N. And I think that maybe the letter M is significant, and that's why I finally noticed it in this reading. Now the card itself is captioned Balance, and it's related to earth and fire elements. So maybe earth and fire signs are significant to the couple that we're talking about here. And the keywords on this card are cracking open, deep healing, and balancing karma. So I'm just getting the sense that there's been a lot of unprocessed pain and grief. And I feel like this person just locked away all their feelings because it was too overwhelming for them. And now they're here, possibly years later, and it's finally coming up for healing. So they're being cracked open by this now, and it's so they can heal. And because of that message, balancing karma, the healing is obviously necessary to make things right in this connection. Now, I know from my own personal experiences of painful things that it's when you have finally healed from the emotional injury that you feel okay again, and you find that the pain is gone, and so are the negative feelings towards the person that hurt you. And I think that's really the point at which you can say that you have truly forgiven someone. Because at this point, the memories are there, but as I said before, the pain isn't there anymore. And then you find that you actually start remembering the good times more as well. So often when you're still hurt, you forget the good times because, the dominant emotions or memories that you have relate to the hurt that you suffered. Now, I'm not seeing anything here in this spread about a reconciliation, but I do get a sense with that balancing karma reference that the soul connection between these two people will be healed by this person finally allowing themselves to heal. And what I mean by that is that there is an etheric bond that will still exist between these two individuals. And because of the healing that this person does, it will no longer be weighed down by the negativity from the past. It will be cleared of that weight. and that is a really good thing to happen. Now back to the middle card, which I haven't talked about. It's titled Sacred Space, and it's just making me think of someone being on their own and being very much just focused on their healing. I think the sacred space is where this person can let themselves feel all those old emotions and do all the crying they need to do. And this is reminding me of some of the more intense emotional purging sessions I experienced on my healing journey. And the reason I thought of that is because crying definitely helped me, and so did writing. It really helped me to write it all out. So if you're resonating with this reading, you may want to sit in your sacred space, and perhaps writing will help you too. So give that a try. And that's all I'm seeing in these cards. So I'm sorry for this pain that you've carried for so long, but processing that pain and healing from it will change everything for you. As I said before, I did have a lot of intense emotional purges for a couple of years, and they often timed in with certain full moons. And the thing is, they were horrible, but every time I had one, I felt a little lighter afterwards. And then for a while, I had a fairly long period without these purges, and I actually thought perhaps maybe I've cleared everything. But then earlier this year, I had what felt like the worst one I'd ever had. And it was with the Scorpio full moon, actually. And it made a lot of sense because that moon was actually conjunct my natal moon in Scorpio, similar degree point. And that was also the full moon where Pluto was squaring the full moon. So I could understand the intensity of that one for me. And it was absolutely awful to go through. But again, I found afterwards that I felt immensely lighter once it was over. So I think that whatever it was that I managed to shift that time was pretty huge because, like I said, it was just a horrendous experience going through it. And since then, I've been fine again. So I'm guessing the pattern now is that these things will happen a lot less often, but they might be absolutely massive when they do happen. But anyway, like I said, it's horrendous while it's happening, but when you come out of it, you'll feel like a new person, and that's what I found, and that's what you'll find. And when you come out of this intense healing period, like I said, you'll feel like a new person, and then you really will be able to start to move forward with your life. And it's because you're finally free of that heavy burden that you were carrying around with you for so long. All the best, Pile 2. I'm sending you hugs. You will get through this. And I just had to drink water pop into my head. So I obviously need to tell you to drink water. I think it really does help when you're going through a lot emotionally. And again, from personal experience, I think if you're crying a lot, you might need the fluid replenishment as well. Yeah, so take care, Pile 2. Sending you hugs. If you're leaving the reading here, please give the video a like or leave a comment. And I'll see you next time. And next up is the Pile 3 reading. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. The tarot card that showed up for you today is the Knight of Swords, which is a card that I associate with the zodiac sign of Gemini. Now, this is the fastest knight in tarot, and it's in the suit we associate with the mind and thoughts. And so I tend to see this as someone who is quick thinking and fast moving, someone who responds rapidly to changes. And this can also be someone impatient who rushes to conclusions without taking time for contemplation. Now, swords relate to the air element, and so we are talking about masculine energy. And it's so interesting because the first oracle card here is titled Feminine Energy. And in fact, the image on this card actually looks like the womb is highlighted. And so there's that sense of something gestating. And well, pregnancies are not about rushing. I mean, it takes nearly 10 months for a baby to be ready to be born. So feminine energy, it is about being receptive rather than being active. And with this particular image, we're also talking about patience while you're waiting for something to become fully formed. Now, I'm seeing this as a message that if you're someone who is impatient and desperate to make things happen, you need to cut that out. The outcome you're wanting is not going to come quickly. It's underway, but it's not something you're going to be able to rush. Now, this message is a little similar to the Pile 1 reading, so you may also have been drawn to that pile. Where they differ is that the Pile 1 reading was, in that pile, the person was being encouraged to continue to take action because that reading was about them making their dream a reality. Now, I'm looking at your last oracle card, and I'm actually thinking that for you in this reading, you're being asked to actually be in the feminine energy and prepare yourself to receive. There is not a lot of action that you need to take. So the last oracle card is titled Citrine and Dandelion, and it's captioned Make a Wish. And it's interesting that the symbols on this card relate to earth and fire elements, because I do tend to think of the air element with dandelions, and that's obviously because of how the seeds fly away on the wind. Now, I'm actually now thinking about the fact that the plant doesn't actually need to put much effort at all into dispersing its seeds. They just fly away by themselves just from the airflow around them. So again, there's a message here that you don't need to be trying very hard at all. You actually just need to settle down and let things happen. The fact that this card is titled Make a Wish is also making me think that you need to be spending more time, dreaming of what you want and trusting that what you are wishing for will come to you. Because you're being told basically to make your wishes and then get yourself into a receptive mode so that you can receive. And that's a really fantastic message. As an Aries, though, I do understand masculine energy, and I know for me to sit back and wait is actually pretty hard, because I always feel like the only way to make something happen is to actively work on it. And I'm guessing that if you're like that, another masculine energy, you will have the same struggles. So I wonder if you just need to find some strategies to help you do this. And maybe it's a good idea to shift your focus to something else that is less important to you. And that way you won't be tempted to overdo things in relation to the thing you actually want. So this is distraction. So maybe find some projects to do around the house, or sort out your garden or something. And that will mean that you're keeping yourself active and busy in other ways. You can obviously exercise, so you're clearing more of this energy, shifting it. Or you could, use it to just have fun, catch up with some friends or start watching a new show on Netflix or something, so that, in relation to your main dream, you've stepped off the pedal, but, you're still doing things that you enjoy and, are productive in other ways. So in terms of the main thing that you love, just give it enough attention so that it continues to be maintained, but don't overdo it anymore. The keywords on this card are clearing, comparison, and surrender to magic. Now, the surrender to magic part definitely makes sense because this is the Make-A-Wish card. But clearing comparison is saying that maybe the reason you've been pushing yourself so hard and overdoing it is because you've been comparing yourself to other people and wanting to be as successful as they are, or perhaps even more successful than they are. Now, Spirit is saying that this isn't really necessary and it isn't helpful, and it actually isn't the right way for you to be operating at all. So you need to not worry about what other people are accomplishing and be much more focused on balancing your energy out. And that's why we have this message of a masculine energy being told to be more feminine. So you're clearly out of balance, and Spirit is wanting you to work on correcting that imbalance. And I think you just need to take that guidance. And it definitely sounds like things will work out in your favor if you do. The wishes will be fulfilled, and all you're being asked to do is visualize and receive. And while that might sound hard to believe, there is a message here to surrender to magic. And that means that you will be experiencing some magic in your life if you're willing to accept this guidance. I think this has been a really lovely reading, Pile 3. It's time to worry less about how and when things will work out for you, and just trust that they will work out for you. I wish you the very best with it all, Pile 3. If you're leaving the video here and you've enjoyed it or found it helpful, please give the video a like or leave a comment. I'll see you at another time. So here we are at the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed the reading or readings that you watched. Now on this slide I've got the decks that I used for this video. The tarot deck is the Uncommon Tarot, and then there were 2 Oracle card decks, the Shamanic Healing Oracle cards and the Earth Alchemy Oracle. And finally, I would like to thank you for supporting my work by watching this video. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please show your support by hitting the like button or making a comment. Please share this video if you think it will be interesting to other people. And if you would like to see more of my work, you can be notified of future uploads by subscribing to the channel. And of course, on my channel, there are some other videos that you can check out if you're interested. If you would like to support me on Facebook, I've got a little thumbnail image of my Facebook blog page here on this slide. Thank you to everyone too who is already subscribed to the channel, because your support means so much to me. And lastly, thank you to all of you for joining me today, and I hope to see you all again in a future video.